Hello, welcome to Little John's. My name's Chef Adam. Just want to take some time today to go over a couple of things, welcome you guys aboard, and just talk about a couple items that we look at on a daily basis here at Little John's in regards to sanitation and hygiene. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to work on getting our hands washed up. We're going to sanitize some surfaces with both our detergent and our sanitizer. We're going to get our hairnets on. We're going to get our gloves on, make sure they're the right size. And then we're going to go ahead and look at temping food, taking a look at some other dietary restriction things, and how we rotate the cooler, and really kind of a real overview of rotation of product and how we store stuff in the cooler. So again, welcome aboard, and let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and get a hairnet on or a hat and put it on our heads. All right. So now I look like I Love Lucy, and I feel like a little bit better. We'll go ahead and wash our hands quick, and then once that's done, we'll go ahead and put our gloves on. So we've got a couple different versions. We've got a vinyl glove here that we use for the most part in the kitchen. We have a small, we have a medium, we have a large, and we have an extra large. We also offer, for those who have any kind of skin irritation issues, a nitrile glove in both large and extra large that we can break out if we need to. So we're just going to go ahead and once our hands are nice and dry, we're going to put our gloves on, and we're going to also make sure to swap out our gloves after every task. So if we're cutting chicken, we're going to make sure we cut all our chicken. We're going to put all our chicken away, take our gloves off, rotate that product through, label it, and then swap new gloves after we wash our hands and start our new project. So it's really important to make sure that we are following those guidelines and washing our hands in between glove use. Okay, so we got our gloves on, we got our hands washed, we got our hairnet on. I'm gonna go ahead and use our sanitation and cleaning bucket. So this is our green cleaning bucket. We have two different chemicals that we use here at Little John's to make sure we clean and sanitize. This is a detergent, so it is a surface detergent. So each bucket has its own cloth in there ready to go. So I'm gonna squeeze out any extra liquid. We're just gonna go ahead and wipe our surface. And we'll also show you guys how to fill these buckets up and how we can make sure that we're using the right amount of sanitizer and detergent. It's a self-regulated system, so I can show you guys that when we go to wash our hands. So we just do the same thing with the sanitizer rag. And then we return it back to the bucket. Okay, so now we've got our station pretty much ready to go. We've got our hairnets on, we've got our gloves. We now would want to set up our station to perform our task. So if that is entailing a cutting board, we want to get our cutting board out. We'd also want to get a towel underneath it so it doesn't move around on us. And then we'd want to get our knife and maybe a change of gloves and a side towel. So back to the point I was making earlier about how we fill up our detergent and sanitizing buckets here at Little John's. So we always use two of them. We have the green sanitizer bucket and the green detergent bucket and the red sanitizer bucket. So the first thing we'll do is we'll turn on the water. And we want to make sure we use a mix of both, so it's lukewarm. Then we're going to start with the detergent bucket. So we find the green cotton pan detergent button. We go ahead and take our hose, put it in the green bucket, and hit the button. And what this is going to do is it's going to mix the detergent at a proper ratio of water for us to be able to apply it and clean surfaces effectively. So we'll fill it up about a halfway to 3/4. We'll release the button and turn off the water. We can put the hose back up. And then we've got our bucket ready to go. We'll throw a towel in there, and then our detergent bucket is ready. We're going to go ahead and repeat the same effort with the sanitation bucket using the red bucket. We'll sit on the bottom, grab the sanitation hose, put it inside, turn on the water, and hit the button. So we'll start with the probe or the electric version. So it's the same idea. We're going to go ahead and just hit probe to get it starting. There is a scan option too that we can use that has an infrared option, but for today and for our uses, all intents and purposes, we're going to go ahead and use this probe button. Okay, so we're going to hold the probe button down, go ahead and put it into our sauce. We're going to make sure that all hot food is heated up and held at a temperature of 160 or higher. So we're at 155 right now, or excuse me, 165 right now. So we know that we're ready to serve this barbecue sauce. As far as these guys go, we're gonna pretty much do the same thing. What you wanna do, identify, when you're using a STEM thermometer, you wanna identify where the dimple is, because that's the part that you wanna get into the food to identify the temperature of it. So we're gonna go ahead and temp our barbecue sauce. This has been a pre-calibrated thermometer, so we know that we're using the right piece of equipment that's set up and ready to go. And then you see that we get up past 160, towards that 165 mark. Okay? So go ahead and sanitize our thermometer and get it ready for the next use. Okay. Now these STEM thermometers come with these little jackets, which are really handy dandy because they have this little wrench attachment to it. So this guy is something you're going to want to use when you calibrate your thermometer. So it slides down like this and opens up and becomes, like I said, like a little pocket wrench. So what this little hexagon fits is the bottom of the thermometer base. So we're going to be able to just put that in there and it'll fit in, and we'll be able to then rotate the face of the thermometer to alter its readings. Okay? So we'll take a cup of ice water, and we know that water freezes at 32 degrees, so we'll be able to get our thermometer in the ice water. That should come down to 32. Now, for some reason, if it doesn't, then we know to go ahead and make a couple adjustments. So now that we've got our thermometers set up, we've started to temp our food, we're going to talk about our storage of our food and how we hold it in the cooler and handle it after we've used it or getting ready to use it in the future. So as far as our temperatures go, we wanted to make sure that we cover a couple of things. We do have some posters throughout the restaurant that kind of tell us what guidelines we want to shoot for temperature, for internal temperatures. Those things are going to be posted up here on the walls. So that's what we'll go ahead and use as a reference. And then we're going to talk about how we store food now. And this is our storage hierarchy. So it talks about having ready to eat food on the very top of like a rolling rack or something that we're going to be storing in the cooler. And fish and seafood next, followed by whole cut red meat, and then the ground meat, followed by poultry, eggs, and then raw ground poultry. So we've got this example kind of set up here on a cart to kind of show us the same idea. So we've got our prep veggies, which is our ready to eat food. We've got some macaroni and cheese that's going to be heated up, which is going to be on the next shelf. And then we've got our proteins and other cooked prepped items here that contain meat. So it's kind of a small kind of snapshot of how we reflect our storage in the cooler and out here when we go ahead to package our food. So it's really important to make sure we're not cross-contaminating any food or making anybody sick. In addition to that, we also use our day dot system to make sure that we're rotating our product properly. We follow the principles of FIFO, which means first in, first out. So we're going to go ahead and label the food that's produced today and go ahead and put it on these trays so we know that we can rotate it through the cooler throughout the week.